What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the blue color, playing as Thor. His name is Shadowfaxx. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Poseidon. Unfortunately, researching hunting dogs. You hate to see it. These players did... I'll get to that later. We have Ognennyj here in the red color playing as Poseidon. We have Shadowfaxx in the blue color playing as Thor. The map is competitive mega random and it has spawned with fish in the center. We're not quite 100% sure what sort of a map we're going to be actually jumping in on here, as we're not yet to see it, but this is looking to be a fairly large pool of water in the center of this map, and in fact it is. So this is a very, very interesting map to be playing on normally in this matchup. And most of the time, I would expect a Thor player to actually want to veto this. But Shadowfaxx is actually fairly confident with his Norse on water. So we'll see how he's going to go. Ognennyj, on the other hand here, he's gotten, in a way, he's actually been blessed with this map and cursed at the same time. So the blessing is that he got this map. The curse is that he missed the fact that this map has got fish on it. You get 12 seconds at the start of the game on competitive mega random to see if the map has got fish on it or not. It's in the left corner of the map. You got to focus on that. There's no excuses. So he's missed it here. Now, that is to say that there are some very, very aggressive land all-ins you can do on these maps. Now, the problem with maps like Mediterranean, for example, and why it doesn't quite work out so well on those maps, or Mediterranean specifically, and why we don't see land aggression on Mediterranean all too often, is because there's really not that much hunt on the map. There's not that much hunt at all, and the water is quite large. This map here has got the fish in the middle of the map. However, it's a small pool of water. So advancing at, say, 348 or something like that here as Poseidon is 100% doable, and it can you can put some incredible amount of pressure onto your opponent's docks and try and win a really, really fast rush on these positions. It might be a little bit challenging because you have to kind of get a dock down as well. You put the temple forward, you put a dock down, you get out a trireme, you get the Cyclops on the dock, you click Pestilence when they hit the next age, you got to get your heroes out. It could definitely work, so I don't want to count Ognennyj out of this game just yet. He is putting the temple up in his base, and it is a little bit late. If you're going for that 348 advance time, it's already too late. So we aren't seeing that here from Ognennyj just yet, but he does have a lot of villagers on the food. He does, let's check out his perspective here. Does he know? He does know that there's water in the middle of the map, so he's going to have to adapt to this in some way, shape, or form. Shadowfaxx, on the other hand, here is actually grabbing a second Ulfsark. So this is a little bit surprising to see. Generally in these sorts of maps, we don't see that, but this is going to be a nice and fast advance time here for Shadowfaxx. He's got himself 7 fishing ships out. He's going up to the Classical Age after getting his Ox card out for, I guess, the Dwarven Mine. He doesn't really need it just yet, but he's going to be getting it nonetheless. And then he'll be clicking up through. Which one is it? He's a little bit short on the food there, unfortunately. And he gets a 3:30 advance time. Freya and Hermes coming through. Shadowfaxx with 14 villagers plus 8 fishing ships versus Ognennyj's 18 villagers to kick this game off with. Obviously, the Norse player is kind of hurt in terms of villager numbers early because of the Ox cart, but then that number then trades back in the Classical Age once the heroes come out of the town center. As we see another dock coming down, more fishing ships are coming out. If we take an actual look at Shadowfaxx's perspective, he actually doesn't know that Ognennyj isn't on water just yet. He knows these spots aren't grabbed. He knows these spots aren't grabbed, but he doesn't know that Ognennyj isn't on water. And we see a triple dock here from Shadowfaxx. Imagine right here if there was a Cyclops in on this position already, able to deny this dock, able to kill this dock, able to put a ton of pressure on with Pestilence. It definitely could work. Absolutely. But Ognennyj is playing it safe here. He is going through Hermes as the game continues along. No docks down just yet. It looks to me like he's going to be attempting a fast second town center over here. For those playing at home, it is possible to get a 4:30 advance time with a bunch of fishing ships out and get this town center up immediately, just as Ognennyj has done. So this isn't really an adaptation for Ognennyj. He's just trying to do the best with a bad situation, as we do see the Ulfsarks swinging around the side of the map here. The Valkyrie going to be coming in. This town center will get spotted here by Shadowfaxx, and Shadowfaxx has actually got out 3 longboats. So after all is said and done, Shadowfaxx is actually in a lot of pain here. He spent a lot of resources on this water that really don't matter in the slightest, as we do see the Centaur coming over here to help out. There is a longhouse coming up for Shadowfaxx as well at this point, but the Ulfsark gets sniped down. Do we see any heroes? We do have a Theseus coming over for Ognennyj at the moment here, as the Centaur going to get shanked down. A little bit jabbed by that Valkyrie here. Ognennyj not microing this one. A little bit odd at this point. As now we see the Theseus coming over here. This low HP villager going to get sniped down there. Good awareness there from Shadowfaxx, as well as Pigsticker and Persine coming through now. And Ognennyj gets the town center up, as he's going to attempt to catch up on this villager deficit that he's in. But this does give Shadowfaxx whatever he wants here in this position. Ognennyj can actually grab a 3rd town center. He's got the resources for a 3rd town center here as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for it, though it might be a little bit crazy to actually do that. As the Valkyrie is coming through here, the villagers are actually moving over to this town center. As the Valkyrie spots these villagers on the wood, I wouldn't be surprised to see a forest fire, but Shadowfaxx holding onto that, being very smart with that one. And now the villagers coming onto this town center, and the strategy from Ognennyj is very much coming to fruition here. He is playing into this problem that he's caused for himself by not going onto the fish, by trying to catch up with town centers. Now, he has been given a blessing by these 3 longboats coming out, being costing 150 resources each. 450 resources basically means this town center is almost paid for in that kind of trade of not needing that. But these fishing ships coming in here as well basically pay for themselves and pay for the longboats and pay for the docks as well. So in all essence here, it could be cool, not quite even, but Ognennyj isn't as far behind as one might realize, or one might think here, but he does have catching up to do, and grabbing this 3rd town center when his opponent is only 1 town center is really asking for trouble here. As the raiding cavalry, medium raiders is in, they're going to start pumping in. I wouldn't be surprised to see Shadowfaxx stay 1 town center here, throw up an armory, hit a heroic age, and cause a lot of problems, because there's definitely going to be some sort of ceasefire needing to be cast in this classical age to stop the aggression. But we do see Shadowfaxx in Shadowfaxx fashion. He's not the most aggressive of players, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this armory simply just being for the heroic age here, as the raiding cavalry coming through, trying to get a little bit of damage. A forest fire here wouldn't actually be the worst of ideas, because it opens this position up quite a bit, as the Theseus going to get sniped down here, or a little bit of damage getting done nonetheless, as we do see 1 villager going down, another villager going to be falling on this position as well, as the town center starting to get some damage done. The Hippocon coming through here as well, as the forest fire does indeed decide to get dropped down. And while he didn't get any real damage done, opening this position up does make a lot of sense here. Copper mail coming through for Shadowfaxx as well. He's got so much food in the bank. I'm surprised to see no fish up on this position, because he could throw a dock down over here. These fish could be really, really nice. He could also send something around onto this position here as well. Another thing he can do is actually use those longboats as a garrison unit to move across that water if he so chooses, as the villagers in the main base starting to get harassed. And there's the ceasefire, which Shadowfaxx was waiting for. Thank you for the 13 months, Hannah Rain. Appreciate you for the consistent support. Means a lot, my friend. Bragi, the god of choice here for Shadowfaxx. He's not even, he's taken no prisoners here. He's taken a little bit of a risk going through Bragi, because you don't get access to the frost giants, you don't get access to the frost, you don't get access to the food income from farms, but he feels like he doesn't need it here, and he's still staying 1 town center. And the other thing he can do here off of this 1 town center, which would be brutally difficult to defend, is a tier timing behind all of this, which would be brutal to say the very least. So we'll see if that's what he's going to be going for, or if he just goes mass upgrades here. He's getting himself Copper Weapons of Thor. He's already got the mail upgrade here as well, as the raiding cavalry are starting to come out here for Shadowfaxx as well. As now the raiding cavalry looking over onto this position here. And the raiding cavalry coming around. Going to snipe down that Toxotes there. Nice attack thus far from Shadowfaxx. He is completely surrounding this position as Ognennyj needs to pull away from him. He's trying to dart towards this town center, but it's probably a little bit of a poor decision there. As still hasn't gotten away from this. Just going to start shanking down as best as he can. There is flaming weapons available for Shadowfaxx, and he does decide to utilize it here. He's going to absolutely murder those villagers on this position as the villager kind of lead that Ognennyj has created here is completely gone, and in that moment he does decide to tap out. A little bit disappointing here from Ognennyj. He tries to make up for the blunder in the early game by not going for water, but not really making much happen for it. Every time I see these, because like here's the thing, right? When you play water maps, your brain at least my brain kind of ignores these sorts of hunting dogs openings. Like Anatolia, for example, going hunting dogs and trying to rush down a side makes zero sense because you're not going to be able to deny both sides of the water. Same thing for like Midgard, advancing at 348 and going for an Ares rush doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Your opponent is going to be able to defend pretty much every single time. But on a map like this, seeing exactly what happened here from Shadowfaxx. If the standard here is to go for a 430 advance with 3 docks and you advance at 348 here as Poseidon, and you put a dock down and you get out some trireme and you get out a Cyclops here, you can win this water really, really quickly. You could deny that second dock, maybe even deny the third dock as well with some solid Katoskopos harassment. And you can potentially just win this water straight up with a forward temple, put that temple down around on this position here, drop the dock down over here. The Cyclops comes in. Villager can also come in and start shanking as well. Trireme comes out to deny the dock. It definitely would work. I'll be interested to see if anybody actually does decide to go that route. The problem is, to some degree, that on these sorts of maps, you don't really know what you're playing on, so you kind of have to make up for it. Now, there are some competitive mega random maps which spawn with tons of water, which obviously a rush wouldn't work out so well on those. But there is some that spawn with very small amounts of water. So if you send your scout forward, especially as Greek, to see what's going on in the center of the map, you can go, well, maybe it's time to do something crazy. If you're not feeling comfortable on the water, that is. Anyways, a solid first win here for Shadowfaxx. It is a best of 5, so Ognennyj's got some chances here in this series to make a comeback. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.